This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
And welcome to the program. Good Sunday morning to you. It's good to have you with us this week. I'm Roby Brock. For Legal Eagles, it was a busy week. In fact, it's been a busy month. On Thursday, the Arkansas Supreme Court, in a 4-3 decision, ruled that the state's procedure to carry out the death penalty by lethal injection was constitutional after nearly a decade of pause. The decision is going to certainly lead to a restart of cases of carrying out those state executions, although there surely will be a lot of legal hurdles. Joining me to talk about all of this is the state's Attorney General, Leslie Rutledge. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me, Roby. Glad to be here.
And I've only seen you like the day after the election. You've been busy working ever since then.
So as you mentioned, it's been a busy week and a busy couple of months.
Let's talk about your office coordinates state executions in conjunction, obviously, with the governor's office. The Supreme Court ruling, first of all, just gauge your reaction to it. I mean, how did you feel once you read the decision?
I was pleased in the Supreme Court ruling. The families of these victims, they need the closure. We need to carry out these sentences. As you mentioned in your opening, it's been over a decade since we've carried out an execution in Arkansas. And it's time to move that forward. And what the Supreme Court's ruling does is allow us now for the Arkansas Department of Corrections to obtain the drugs and for us to move those forward and to inform the governor that we're ready.
I know from when the state did carry out executions, the Attorney General's office very integral in that whole process there. I mean, there were staff members, there was a division of the office almost that did that. Is that division still in place? What's your staffing level at?
Well, certainly we still have the criminal division, which handles the death penalty cases, that identifies ones and handles all the appeals, because as you can imagine, this is not the end of litigation in the death penalty as far as that's concerned, and lethal injection. So yes, we have staff devoted to these cases. Some of them have been with these cases from the beginning.
Let's talk about, I want to pull up a quote here from Asa Hutchinson. Governor Asa Hutchinson said that he's already met with the Attorney General on this topic. He's looking at the status of the ones that are currently pending, referring to the death row cases, to see what the next steps are. Now that we have this issue resolved, Asa Hutchinson said we'll go back and see what the time frames are, and I think that the first step is to make sure that the Department of Corrections has what it needs to carry out the legislative direction. So how many cases do we have that are going to meet this threshold? How big is this caseload potentially?
Well, there are 32 inmates currently on death row. 8 of those inmates have exhausted all of their appeals, and so those 8 would be the ones that we would send to the governor initially.
And the governor obviously talking to about time frames on all this. I know that's very dicey to even try to put some sort of time frame on because, as you said, some of them haven't gone through all of the appeals process yet. But of the 8 that have, how quickly could some of those come to?
This is not something that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. I know there's quite a bit of angst and talk about that because of the Supreme Court's decision. It's important to remember that, as we've discussed already, that the Department of Correction must first obtain a drug in order to carry out the lethal injection. Once they do that, then we'll be able to send the names to the governor.
So what is and I know that there's been a problem getting the drugs. I mean, that's part of the thing that's tripped up this whole process that's been in this litigation for the last several years. Where are the drugs going to come from?
Well, that is something that the Department of Correction will be charged with determining. It has been more and more difficult over the years as manufacturers are refusing to provide drugs to certain companies, and if they determine that they will be used in a lethal injection.
Do you have any concerns that there will be new litigation to try to put a halt to the death penalty in the state of Arkansas? I mean, we've seen some legislation up at the state capitol. It really hasn't moved very far, but that debate has at least been opened up, particularly in light of the fact that there seems to be more and more evidence of people who may have innocently been put to death, you know, after the fact, the facts come out and show that maybe they shouldn't have.
Roby, I have no concerns that there will be litigation. I am certain that there will be litigation because of the seriousness of the issue at hand. And however, as I mentioned at the very beginning, and I have stated, these individuals have been sentenced, and the families of these victims, they need that closure. And so I was very pleased with the Supreme Court's decision this week.
You said in your statement on the Supreme Court decision that you want to work with the legislature to strengthen the death penalty in the state of Arkansas. What do you have in mind in that?
Some of the things that we're looking at are the confidentiality of companies that provide the drugs necessary to carry out a lethal injection. Because so many protests and public scrutiny comes to those companies. Many states have gone this direction in order to protect the private businesses.
Let's shift gears and talk about the EPA, something near and dear to your heart, judging by all the press releases I've gotten from your office about the Environmental Protection Agency. You're going to go speak to, in Washington, D.C., to the full Senate Agriculture Committee on, I think, some water regulations. You've spoken about the Clean Power Plan. Obviously, this is a fulfillment of some campaign promises that you talked about quite a bit in terms of pushing back on the federal government.
Sure, and I was pleased to have already gone to Congress and testified regarding the EPA's 111D proposed rule on carbon emissions. As you mentioned, on this Tuesday, 2 days from now, I'll be back in the nation's capital testifying before the Senate Agriculture Committee on waters of the U.S. Why this is so critical is because think about all the row crop farmers in Arkansas, and if the EPA determines that some of those row crops are those farmlands are navigable waterways under their definition, then all of those farmlands can fall under the EPA's definition. And I don't know about many people, but I haven't seen many sailboats in Stuttgart.
I haven't seen many dinghies over there either.
Right.
So, what do you think it does besides raise awareness about the issue? How do you think it influences the debate for you to be in front of these committees and to provide this testimony when you could send your comments to them? I mean, is that the best use of your time?
Well, we've actually done both. We have provided written comments. We filed comments arguing against this rule already with the EPA. I think it's important, and what I've heard from our members at Congress and in the Senate, that it's important to have someone, the state's lawyer, to come explain why it's an encroachment on states' rights.
All right, I'm getting the wrap-up sign that we're out of time. She is Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge. Thank you so much for
Roby.
your time. Appreciate you being with us.